Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've plugged in your OBD2 scanner and pulled a P0740 code, you might be feeling a bit stressed. Don't worry, we're here to break down exactly what this code means, what might be causing it, and how you can get your car back to shifting smoothly. So, grab a coffee, and let's dive into the world of transmission codes. First off, what exactly is P0740? This code stands for torque converter clutch circuit malfunction. In simple terms, your car's computer, the powertrain, control module, or PCM has detected a problem with the electrical circuit that controls the torque converter clutch. Now, you might be wondering, what's a torque converter clutch? Think of the torque converter as the component in an automatic transmission that does a similar job to the clutch in a manual car. It allows your engine to keep running even when the car is stopped. The torque converter clutch, or TCC, is a mechanism inside the converter that locks the engine S output directly to the transmission S input at certain speeds, usually on the highway. This creates a one-to-one connection, which improves fuel efficiency and reduces heat. When the PCM sees that this lockup isn't happening when it's commanded to, or it's happening when it shouldn't, it triggers the P0740 code and illuminates that dreaded check engine light. So, what are the symptoms you might notice? Besides the check engine light, the most common sign is a change in your car's performance. You might feel the engine RPMs are higher than usual at highway speeds because the clutch is locking up. This can lead to decreased fuel economy. You'll be stopping at the gas station more often. Some drivers report a sensation like the transmission is slipping, or they might experience stalling when coming to a stop if the clutch fails to disengage. In more severe cases, your transmission could overheat or even go into limp mode, where it gets stuck in a single gear to prevent further damage. Now for the big question, what causes a P0740 code? There are several potential culprits. The most common one is a faulty torque converter clutch solenoid, also known as the TCC solenoid. This is the electronic part that the PCM uses to control the flow of transmission fluid to engage and disengage the clutch. If this solenoid fails electrically or gets clogged with debris, it can't do its job properly. Another common cause is the transmission fluid itself. Low, dirty, or contaminated fluid can wreak havoc on your transmission. Old fluid loses its lubricating properties and can't operate the hydraulic circuits effectively. Debris floating in the fluid can clog up the solenoid or the valve body passages, preventing the TCC from working. Wiring issues are also a possibility. A damaged, corroded, or shorted wire between the PCM and the TCC solenoid will interrupt the signal, causing the circuit malfunction code. This could be due to chafing against other parts, heat damage, or just age. Sometimes, the problem lies within the torque converter itself. Internal mechanical failure of the clutch mechanism can prevent it from locking up, even if the electrical circuit is working perfectly. And in some less common scenarios, the issue could be with the transmission S-valve body or even a fault within the powertrain control module. Although PCM failure is rare and should be the last thing you suspect. Okay, so how do you go about diagnosing this P0740 code? A good starting point is always to check the transmission fluid. With the engine running and the transmission in park or neutral, depending on your vehicle's specific procedure, check the fluid level and condition. If it's low, top it up. If it looks dark, burnt, or has debris in it, a fluid and filter change might be your first step. Next, you'll want to test the TCC. This often involves using a professional-grade scan tool that can command the solenoid on and off to see if it responds. You can also test the solenoid S resistance with a multimeter to see if it is within the manufacturer's specifications. This usually requires dropping the transmission pan to access it. While you're there, inspect the wiring harness for any visible signs of damage. Look for broken wires, loose connections at the solenoid and the PCM, or any signs of corrosion. A wiring diagram for your specific vehicle is incredibly helpful for this step. If the solenoid and wiring check out, the problem is likely more serious, pointing towards a faulty torque converter or an internal transmission issue. At this stage, it's often best to consult a professional transmission specialist, as replacing a torque converter is a major job that requires removing the entire transmission from the vehicle. Fixing a P0740 code can range from a simple fluid change to a complete transmission rebuild, so proper diagnosis is key to avoiding unnecessary repairs and expenses. Start with the simplest and cheapest fixes first, like checking the fluid, before moving on to more complex components. We hope this guide has demystified the P0740 code for you. Dealing with transmission issues can be intimidating, but with a logical approach, you can narrow down the cause and get back on the road. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and drive safe.